Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm finishing up a couple things that came in the mail the other day. I mentioned it in the last video, but we have some modern muscle design, I think that's the brand, MMD, modern muscle design hood struts for all 94 to 04 Mustangs. After finally fixing the trunk struts, I received a gift card in the mail for like 200 bucks. It was my lucky day, so I went on and just got a couple things that I wouldn't normally buy because it was, you know, like a gift. So I was like, well, I'll just buy something like that I would as a gift for myself, you know, not something that I would normally just shop for, something that I would buy later on down the road. I got rain guards, I got the billet pedals, and I got the hood struts. I videoed the pedals already. I decided not to use the rain guards. I'm gonna buy the AVS branded rain guards, and I'm about to do the hood struts. It's pretty simple to install these actually, so I think it's gonna be a fairly quick video. Seems like it's just 3 bolts and then, well, 1 bolt, 2 nuts. It mounts up to the existing hardware that's on the hood hinge and the fender bolt. So it seems like it's gonna be pretty simple. But yeah, I'm gonna go grab it right now and unbox it and show you what all's in here and kind of show you how it goes together. And then we'll get it put on the car. Don't mind the hoodie, it was a gift. I would never wear a Chevrolet hoodie, but I don't mind getting it dirty. So here's the whole kit. Really nice and clean black, powder coated. You got ball studs here that mount, that you actually take the back fender bolt off back here, and you just sit this down on there and then put the fender bolt back down through that hole, and that gives you your ball stud for the bottom. And then for the top, this bracket here, you know, you have 2 bolts for your hinge there. The back bolt, it just slides down on, and then you tighten it up, and then the front bolt you actually have to take all the way off. So it makes it to where you can install these without taking the hood off the car. As long as the hood's propped up and you just loosen the bolts up, it'll sit right in place and you don't have to do nothing. And they are labeled for driver and passenger. This one says DU and the other ones say PU. And I believe the ball studs are even labeled too, DL and PL. Yeah, so and then of course the struts, they seem to be pretty well made struts. There's already grease down inside of there, so that's great. This one needs a little bit more grease, so yeah, keep an eye on that when you get them. The bottom one does have plenty of grease, the top one does not. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my tools and we'll just get right to this. This is gonna be very quick and easy, I'm thinking. So to start off, you're gonna need 8mm socket. I'm just gonna do it with 1/4 inch stuff, and I'm gonna use a little extension too. So yeah. So I decided to move the camera so you guys can see up close and personal what's going on here. So as I said, first step, we're going to remove this rear fender bolt. Get it all the way out of there. And then we need to find the bottom ball stud that is labeled for driver. And then take this bad boy all the way out, set your ball stud down there, and then put your bolt back down in there, and we're gonna crank it down. Try to make it sit like flush with the fender, I'm assuming. We can always move it around later, but I'm thinking it's gonna be best if I just keep it flush with the fender when I'm tightening it down. And these bolts, you know, if your car is 30 years old, keep that in mind. You don't want to break these bolts. It doesn't need to be like ridiculously tight. I'd say 15 foot-pounds, maybe, you know, a little more, a little less. I just do it by hand. So now you're going to need to switch to a 10 millimeter deep well socket. And we're going to start by just loosening the rear. We're just going to loosen it up enough to where we can get that bracket to slide down under it. So we're not quite there yet. That should be plenty, and then we're going to take the top one all the way out. Okay, so you're going to want to be careful with this. Because it seems like it's wanting to come out of there, so I'm going to hold and squeeze this while I do everything. So I'm going to squeeze the bracket to the hood. Matter of fact, I'm going to get a little bit of grease. Because this bolt doesn't look like it's ever had a drop of lube on it in its entire lifetime. It's really dry and greasy, so, or dry and like got some corrosion to it. So I'm just gonna put a little tiny bit of grease on it there, and then I'm gonna crank it back down to get some grease on it, and then back off. And as I said, you probably want to squeeze this bracket, because I'm almost certain if I let go of this bracket, I just kind of hung on a thread right there. But if I were you, I'd keep a hold of this thing. Gosh, I guess I'm gonna have to loosen bottom one even more. And I believe that should do it. Of course, we're gonna crank this down a little bit tighter. I broke a little bit of paint off. Whoever sprayed the hood of my car when they painted it, sprayed it while the hood was down, and like said, paint's like hanging off the edge here. I'm gonna have to touch this up. I'm gonna paint this car eventually, but the previous owners didn't love this car like I do, so it's still got a long way to go. As I said, I don't want to crank these down to where it breaks anything, but I do want them nice and snug, so it looks like the washers on these bolts are just starting to bend upward a little bit, so I think that's tight enough. Everything feels really tight here, so I think we are done with the L driver side O. Now, as I said, the bottom strut here has plenty of grease, but the top part of the strut that the ball stud goes in does not. So I don't know where my tube of chassis grease is. That's what I normally use, is red lithium grease, but I can't find it, so I'm using my Moly Fortified, my good stuff that I use for my like bearings and clutch components and stuff like that. But it's grease is grease. So, but this Moly Fortified stuff's a good bit better. Will hold up to like high temperatures and stuff like that. The red stuff is more for like your bushings and suspension components and control arms and stuff like that. So I got plenty of grease down in here, so I'm just gonna scrape the excess. Just like that. May even grab a little rag right here. Tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and put some more grease down in this bottom side too, because only half of it was like well greased. Yeah, you can't, when it comes to a ball stud or something like this, that its main job is to move with weight on it, grease is your best friend, because it's going to keep this thing from wearing out early and breaking. So if this is anything like the trunk struts, this should just snap right on, like bang bang. So we'll see. Yeah, it says pop it on, so. It's not popping on though. Okay, there's a clip. Okay, that makes sense now. So there's actually a clip on this, so it doesn't just pop on. Directions don't say anything about this, but I'm gonna try to show you this. It's a good thing I'm making this video. Goes to show even the simple stuff. Okay, so you see this right here, and you see that wire that's running through this side of the ball stud. So when you pop this back, you see that it pops out around, and then you can pull this out. When you pull that out, it opens it up enough to where the ball stud will fit in there. So after you put the ball stud in there, you slide this back down in there and then snap this in place, and that's what holds your ball stud on there. I don't know how I feel about that design, but you know, it is what it is. So, I'm running into an issue here. Okay, so if you're on your own, this is going to be tricky, because you have to, the hood strut sits a little bit lower than what your hood prop does, so you have to let your prop down and go over here and pull this clip out and slide it down out of the way. Pull that clip, you flip that clip, it comes around to the side, you slide it down and put the ball stud on, and then immediately slide the clip back up through the hole in the top of this, and then snap the clip back in place. And it seems like this one strut is holding the hood, so this looks to be a very, very strong strut. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. It's really just repeat. So I'm gonna just kind of snap through that, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, guys, we got the hood struts on both sides. Everything's nice and tight. It's a little tricky with the clip situation, like I explained before. You know, on the first side, you gotta let the prop down and hold the hood yourself. It's easier if you got an extra set of hands, but if you don't, you can get it done on your own. You just gotta be extra careful. But as you can see, I got both struts on there. I'm about to test it out now. Let me get my little light kit out of there and see how much tension this thing actually has. Oh wow, holy moly. I wasn't expecting that. Wow. So you really gotta like hold your hood, because once it pops and gets to about right here, I mean, I've got to hold it with like 20 pounds of pressure, or it's gonna fly up so hard that it's gonna break the hinges, it feels like. I mean, if I let go of that thing, it's you see that? Wow. That's these struts are very strong, so keep that in mind. I would not just pop your hood and let it go, because it feels like it's gonna jar everything. But yeah, after I finally got the trunk struts, you guys seen in a few videos back, I had to cut the old ball studs out, the permanent ball studs on the bottom. And after I fixed those, I was like, it came to mind, maybe I should get struts for the hood, because my hood prop, when I got the car, was like kind of dingy, and I, you know, sanded it down and painted it and clear coated it. But also, the clip is also broken right here. But I mean, it sits in place. It doesn't move around, especially when the hood's closed. But it just got me thinking, after I did the trunk struts, why don't I do hood struts? You know, all the new cars have hood struts, so, and this will be great for car shows. That way that prop rod's not in the way. And I am very happy with how it looks. It looks so much better not having that prop rod there. Just makes it look a lot cleaner. I'm really happy with this. But yeah, very simple install. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say like maybe a 3 or 4, and that's only because of those weird little clips that I showed you, and the fact that you have to hold the hood. Well, the couple things, the fact that you have to hold that hinge tight when you take the bolts off. So you got to be like holding that hinge and taking the bolt off with your other hand. Then once you get the nut off, you got to put that bracket on and then get the nut started, all while holding that hinge tight with one hand. And then also, when you're getting the struts snapped onto the ball studs, you got to let the prop down. So you got to hold the hood at the right height while you're trying to snap those weird clips into place. So it was a little tricky, but nothing major at all. Literally 1 bolt and 2 nuts on each side. It took me longer to video it than it did to actually do it. If I was just working full speed and not trying to show you guys what I'm doing, I'd say 5 minutes per side, maybe 8 minutes per side. It's a 15-20 minute job max, but I'm very happy with it. As far as looks, 10 out of 10. It does feel like those struts are a little bit too strong. If you let the hood go, it feels like it's just gonna fly back and hit the windshield. You know, I kind of let it go a little bit, but kept my hand in there so you could see how quick it jerks. So just, if you do put them on there, just be careful and make sure when you pop your hood, you let it up easily, because you don't want to jar anything or bend your hinges or anything. But yeah, this was one of the more favorite things that I've done. Really gives it that modern look. So if you like what you saw, leave a like on the video. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, leave them in the comment section, and most of all, subscribe to the channel. Thanks again. Have a good day.